You are live on YouTube.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call the Government Ops and Advocacy Committee meeting to order. I have a quorum with Supervisor Conover, Supervisor Beatty, myself, and de facto committee woman Sieber here, so we do have a quorum. First thing I'm going to do is approve of minutes of our prior committee meeting. Do I have a motion for that? Motion by Mr. Conover. I'll second it. All in favor? Opposed? Carried? Okay. Obviously, we're here to allow the public to have some access in an evening meeting to opine on the current resolution that has been passed from our Government Ops Committee to the board. This is a public hearing regarding local law number 10 of this year, entitled "A Local Law of the County of Warren, New York, repealing local laws 3 of 2015, local law 2 of 2016, local law 3 of 2016, and prohibiting the use and sale of sparkling devices in Warren County." At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our county first assistant, Mr. Twillinger. Would you like to give us a brief history on where we've been and where we are now?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
So this meeting, as Chairman Beatty had said, is about rescinding Warren County Local Law Number 3 of 2015, which is known colloquially as the Warren County Fireworks Law. And the county adopted this law after New York State changed the laws regarding fireworks sale and use in 2014. In 2014, the state penal law section 405(5)B was added, allowing counties to exempt sparkling devices from the definition of fireworks and dangerous fireworks, so that sparkling devices could be sold and used without a permit and without criminal penalty. Sparkling devices have a definition described in Penal Law Section 270, and that definition is adopted by reference in Warren County's law. And sparkling devices basically are like handheld. They're not supposed to fly up into the air. They don't make really loud explosion noises and things like that. Local Law Number 3 of 2015 allows for the sale and use of sparkling devices with 4 conditions on it. 1, they may be sold only during 2 time periods. The first time period is from June 1st through July 5th. The second time period is from December 26th through January 2nd. A second condition is that all sellers must be licensed through the New York State Office of Fire Prevention and Control. A third condition is that persons must be over age 18 to purchase these sparklers. And 4, the seller must give the buyer a safety brochure with the sparklers when the buyer purchases them. This 4th condition was a modification added by Local Law 2 of 2016. In 2018, the state penal law was modified again, and Section 405(5)B was modified to allow a county to enact a local law prohibiting the sale and use of sparkling devices. The exact language on it is, notwithstanding any inconsistent provision of law, a county may enact a local law to prohibit the sale and use of sparkling devices as such term is defined in Section 270 of this chapter. And this is the statutory justification for Warren County to rescind Local Law 3 of 2015 and to prohibit the sale of sparkling devices within Warren County.
Thank you, Mr. Twillinger. Anything else?
No,
That's
thank you,
it.
sir.
Thank you very much. At this time, what I'm going to do, Mr. McGowan, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just a little confused. Mr. Twillinger, you said handheld sparklers. Is that what you said?
Generally, that's what they are, is like a device that's kind of a handheld or a ground mounted device. There's a whole.
Well, I didn't hear you say ground. That's why I asked it, the ground, because what is being sold are, they're sparkling, they're not big booms and that, but they do sparkle, and technically you're not supposed to hold them in your hand, but yet I've seen, games where that's done. So I just want to clarify that it's what's being sold in the boxes or around the 2 times, what the sale of all the fireworks that are sold in those. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and if I may, actually, to help add to that, the definition of sparkling devices in the statute in section 270 of the penal law, which Warren County incorporates in its local law, is that sparkling devices which are ground-based or handheld devices that produce a shower of white, gold, or colored sparks as their primary pyrotechnic effect. And it does mention them as being ground-based, which is what you were mentioning, Supervisor McGowan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have received a number of emails and so forth from residents concerning this topic of repealing the local law. In fact, we've received 61 to date. That covers approximately the last 4 months. And I'm not going to read any to you, but I will tell you that 54 were in favor of repealing the current local law, and 7 were in favor of continuing and allowing the sales of the current local law. Now, this time I'm going to open up the public hearing to the public. I ask you be courteous. We don't have a huge turnout, so you can take the time you need to get your point across. I ask that you come up to the podium there and speak into the mic because we are on YouTube, and the people up there do want to see and hear clearly what you're saying. And so at this time, I will ask, is there anyone who would like to speak concerning this topic? Yes, ma'am. Okay. And state your name, please, when you get to the podium. That's yeah. Right. It's tough to speak through these, I know.
My name is Denise Rabideau, and I live in Glens Falls. And you said they're sparkler devices. Are they the handheld sparklers? Because where I live in Glens Falls, people are setting them off at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're flying in the sky and doing all the stuff that East Field does. So that to me is not a handheld sparkling device. And I have 2 dogs that lose their skin when that whole month of July and June, and they're going on in August as well. So
Yeah,
if the purpose is just for that week in July, then that's fine and good, but who's monitoring the sale of all those devices, and who's monitoring, okay, July 10th, you can no longer do that. There needs to be some kind of boundaries for people, because the people, and I've called the police a number of times because it's just they go off all night long, all day, all night. And I just don't see the purpose in that.
Thank you. We're not here to answer questions, although I'll try to help out where I can, ma'am. This is an opportunity to just say whatever you feel you want to say. Okay.
Yep.
But to help you out a little bit, the number of complaints, we did have the sheriff's department track that for us and send us the information. Since 2015, when the local law was enacted, and you probably can't memorize it, but there's 92 complaints back 6 years ago. 5 years ago, there's 73 complaints. 4 years ago, in 2017, there's 78 complaints. In 2018, which is 3 years ago, there's 65 complaints. 2019, which was 2 years ago, there's 53. So the complaints were going down. 2020, 188 complaints. And this year, 2021, through just barely past half the year, through July 14th, there are 78 complaints. So that would come out to probably around 150 to 160 if that fulfilled the rest of the year. We don't have that data yet. So that gives you a little history of how many complaints have been filed and lodged with the police department. Who else would like to speak? Okay, sir.
Hello, my name is Michael Seal from Glens Falls. And I think it's a little rash to, completely ban these things because, if you have kids, they like to see these things. They like to have sparklers. They like to run around. It's just a beautiful thing. It's represents our country. The 4th of July, it's a celebration. And I don't feel that, banning them is the proper thing to do. And as, we go through COVID, I would probably agree that there was probably more complaints during COVID because more people bought them because there was no fireworks shows. So they, in order to see fireworks, they had to use these sparkling devices. Okay. But I also want to say that I would probably gander to guess that probably 80 to 90% of those complaints were not the legal ones. They were ones that they went to Pennsylvania and brought them in. They went to Vermont. Well, in Vermont they have some, but these are big ones. I read in a few of those letters that they said M80s. They don't sell M80s here. They don't sell any of those. Nothing that goes any higher than 10 to 12 feet is sold. That's that would be a top of the ceiling. That's it. And they're sparkling devices, and they crackle. They don't explode. They crackle. So my estimation of this is that you're seeing a lot of illegals that are getting these complaints, and you're not going to really just completely stop that. People are going to do that. People are going to inherently break the law. But if you can say to the people that are selling these things, say, listen, when you buy these, you have to use them. I love this. That's exactly what I was going to say. You have to use them within a certain time frame. So it eliminates all that. So now it becomes illegal after a certain date because you're taking away our right to celebrate our country's heritage, and I don't think that's right. It's not right. It's like saying take away flags. We can't have flags. Sorry, because it bothers people. The bright colors bother people when they're driving down the road. It's just not right to do that. And I think that you could govern this a lot better by just putting some limits on it and say, you probably don't see hardly any during like in the January time because there's no tents all over the place. They're not selling them all over the place. It's just the 4th of July. So if you were to limit them for a few weeks, 2 weeks, start, and like she said, like the 10th or the 14th of July, that's it. And then the people that sell them are mandated to tell everybody that they're shut down as of the 14th, that they will become illegal as of the 14th. So if you're buying these, make sure that you shoot these off before then. And the other thing too, is that yes, are there people that probably, keep them for longer times, like you're getting complaints, longer times, other celebrations, probably birthdays or, things like that. There's probably going to be that, but they also could be illegals that they're going out because, you're doing a celebration like that. They're going to probably want them to see them go way up in the sky. And I do believe that your complaints are all factoring in the illegals. It's not these little sparklers that kids are running around with and the little crackles that pop all over the place. But again, at 2 o'clock in the morning, those crackles would bother me. They'd bother my dogs. They shouldn't be doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning all year round. They shouldn't, so that's what my suggestion is. I think they should just limit them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input. Is there anybody else who'd like to opine on this subject?
Can I ask a question or?
Well, it's really just an information gathering public hearing. So normally we wouldn't be answering questions because that's not the format set up to be. So I'll allow a question. Okay, go ahead to the microphone, would you please?
I just, this is Denise again. I just wanted to know if there's any data on if there has been with those sparklers that go way in the sky, if any houses have burnt down because people don't know what they're doing and, they're not letting them off at Eastfield, they're letting them off on Cooper Street,
Mhm.
And if I know in my area, there hasn't been, I don't think, but I just wonder if there was any data on if there has been any fatalities or houses burning down because of.
I don't have that answer. Maybe I can ask our undersheriff if maybe he could find out that data. Just I don't think you could do it right now, but if you could get back to me and I could share it with the committee and the public on the next meeting. By the way, Friday morning at 10 o'clock, we will have another public session on this topic. So for those of the people who work in the evening, they couldn't come tonight. If they want to come Friday morning at 10 o'clock, they're more than welcome to. So maybe we can have an answer to that question Friday morning. Okay?
Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
can
McGowan,
I just add a comment?
feel free.
All right, thank you. Okay, basically what we have here is what you're stating is they call Roman candles. Okay, they're sold New Hampshire, I think Pennsylvania. We all know south of the border, growing up, driving down there, 282 miles of signs for south of the border. They have bigger fireworks. Those are the ones that they come back from Florida with and that. I just happened to witness the other night in Washington County. I was at a birthday party and they had the sparklers, and I said to myself, boy, better get rid of them because they're going to be going soon. But but there's a difference between and like Mr. Seals says that, common courtesy toward your neighbors and understanding. I mean, I don't understand that, but I just want people to know the difference of the sparklers. And that's where I wanted clarification. There's the difference between that and then the Roman candles are the ones that go up further. And those, are sold in the States they've been selling them for years. So we all know that. Mike, am I correct there? Sorry, Mr. Seals.
You got to address the chairman though,
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
McGowan. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
you're welcome. Chairwoman Seaver?
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you to those of you that came out tonight to talk and present your different opinions, but also to all those, several, I want to say 75 people that wrote in through the Warren County Strong email, but also to individual supervisors to talk about how they felt. Just to address, and I would like to answer a couple of the questions, just so you have this information and perhaps it will help other people coming on Friday. Mr. Seal, you stated that these are not sold year round, that in January we don't see the tents, and I'm sure you're familiar with the tents that are sold and the companies throughout Warren County that initially we saw a lot of those tents. But there is a selling period in July and in January. So there are 2 times during the year. Initially, when this law was passed, at least I was under the impression that the usage could only be during the sale periods. And as it turned out, the usage could be all year long, not just during the sale. So I think that's an excellent suggestion. And I know as when our county attorney has looked into whether or not that's something that we can do within our local law and have that compromise. I know he's also looked into, is there a way to compromise in terms of the handheld sparklers or just, the ones that oftentimes we hear people talk about on a birthday cake or in the backyard. But those are now being sold year round in grocery stores. You're seeing little candles that get hot that are metal. New York State will tell us that only the non-metal is not allowed anymore in New York, but we certainly still sometimes see that sold. The idea about educational and brochures were supposed to be attached initially, and that took some years, but now we do see that educational information handed out when the fireworks are sold or the sparkling devices. But the majority of people we have heard from are people that are concerned about their pets, that are veterans, that are hearing them at 2 a.m. And perhaps it's not, there are those illegal fireworks that are taking place because you're right, the larger ones are not legal in personal use. This does not touch any of the villages or the private entities that are doing approved fireworks. But the ones that are going off at 2 a.m, generally, from the complaints that we've seen, they haven't all been the ones that are brought in from other states. They have been a lot of these sparkling devices. But I just wanted to give you a history, a little bit of what some of the context behind this has been. And then also several other counties in the state of New York have decided to repeal their local laws. And given the fact so many people had reached out to us about it, we felt the best thing to do was come out to the public and see where people are weighing in on this issue. And that's what brought us here tonight. So just in terms of also the injuries. Anne Marie Mason's the head of our emergency services department. She does have some information on that. And I do believe there have been some instances of injuries or damages to homes as it relates to sparkling devices, but certainly also to fireworks. So, but again, thank you for coming out, and this information is really helpful.
Mr. Conover. Okay, do we have any other comments? I'm going to give a second round. Okay. I was going to give him a second chance. Thank you. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Brian Oliva. Just to kind of, add on to what Mike was saying. Your concerns, I mean, when you're seeing the aerials, so any aerial, any, bottle rocket, anything like that, those are not legal. The ground ones are. The Roman candles are not legal. Mortars, M80s, jumping jacks, regular firecrackers you light and throw on the ground, those aren't legal. All right. We run a couple of the tents. We follow all the permits. We do everything you're supposed to. We hand out the sheets. We try to educate the people. And I'm hoping that a lot of this is just not that they're not educated, maybe misinformed, maybe not totally informed. A lot of these things are fun. I mean, the kids enjoy it. A lot of adults enjoy it. The last couple of years with COVID and everything, a lot more people have become a little more homebodies. They'd rather not now go out to Lake George and fight the crowds or the masses and go here and there. They like being home. They liked celebrating at home with friends and family. You're going to get a little more, a little bit more at home stuff. The fools that want to do it night long, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, unfortunately, you're hard pressed to stop them. I have talked to a couple of the patrol, and I mean, they've had to respond to shot fired sometimes with some of these illegal fireworks going off. They know it's fireworks, but they have to respond to shots fired. That's something they have to do. It's unfortunate, and I understand people's pets. I have 2 dogs that, will shake all night long at, thunder, fireworks. If a motorcycle backfires, that's the nature of some of them. Veterans of PTSD, I will never, hats off to them. They did. I don't, wish them harm, nothing like that, of course. But again, I hope this isn't just a rash decision where let's ban everything. I'm all in favor for the, a short period. We only do ours for a couple weeks. It's usually a week, maybe 10 days before the 4th, and then the day after 4th, and that's it. And the time period of when you can do it, I'm all in favor for that too, obviously. And then you're going to get some fools. They just are. I hate to say it, but you're going to get some. They're just going to do what they want when they want, and it's unfortunate, but these things are fun. They are safe if you use them properly, and they are fun. I mean, that's all I can say. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your input. I'll open it up one more time if anybody would like to speak again, or otherwise I will entertain a motion to.
Don Lehman.
Thank you. Mr. Lehman, do we have any comments on YouTube?
Hi, Chairman Beatty. No, there's nothing on YouTube right now.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Conover, you were making a motion to adjourn. Now, again, if you'd like to speak with the full board here, ladies and gentlemen, Friday morning at 10 o'clock, you'll have that opportunity to speak again. You can say whatever you want to say. Ma'am, did you want to say something? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to hold off on that second to adjourn. It's okay. That's what we're here for.
I'm Joanne Reynolds, and I just like to agree with the rest of them too. I think it should be limited as well. I have dogs, and it's annoying when my neighbors have a few beers and let them off at 2 o'clock in the morning. So maybe time should be limited as well. But I also wonder where all the tax dollars from all the fireworks that are sold are going to be replaced with to recoup that money. I'm pretty sure for the entire county of Warren County with all the tents, it's a lot of money.
Okay,
I'm just concerned on that too.
okay, good comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chairwoman?
I would like the opportunity just to answer your question. Like, what you just stated, ma'am, about the sales tax was a question the whole board had and our county treasurer had, and he's worked very hard along with the New York State Association of Counties and some other entities to try to determine where is that sales tax money and how much is it? And I'm sure, I know he's not going to be able to be here at the meeting on Friday, but I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you about that. The state tells us they are not able to calculate the amount of sales tax that is generated as a result of the sales in each particular county, that it goes into a particular, this general code, and that they don't have an ability to, sort it out. Yeah. So I too wondered, like, is this going to be a really big difference in terms of sales tax? Because that was how we also got sold on it. We'd see an additional amount of sales tax by opening this up. And I think that's been some frustration from some other counties too, but we are unable to determine the amount of sales tax is the answer to your question.
Because they're just gonna drive across the border and buy them.
And hopefully our treasurer would have more information for you. I'm sure if you want to shoot an email in, he'll get back to you, but it's really difficult to determine. I don't know if it's a lot. I have no idea what it is. So unfortunately.
Thank you. Okay, I will entertain now Mr. Conover's motion to adjourn, seconded by Ms. Seaver. Okay, all in favor of adjourning? Thank you again for coming. And 10 o'clock Friday morning, if you'd like to be heard with the full